Hello and welcome to the Smart English Club podcast. I am so happy you are here with us today. My name is Mia, and I am here with my wonderful fiancé, Lucas.
Hello, everyone. It is so lovely to have you here with us today. I am Lucas.
Today, Lucas and I are going to talk about something that makes my heart so happy. We are planning our wedding together.
Listen carefully and enjoy our conversation in slow and clear English. Let us begin.
Lucas, I still cannot believe we are engaged. Every morning I wake up and I look at this ring on my finger and I feel like the happiest person in the entire world.
And every morning I wake up and I look at you and I feel exactly the same way. I am so happy you said yes, Mia.
As if I was ever going to say no, you are the best thing that ever happened to me. Now, as much as I love just being engaged and enjoying this feeling, I think it is time for us to actually start planning our wedding because good wedding venues get booked up very quickly, and I do not want to miss out on the perfect place.
You are absolutely right. And I have to say, now that the initial excitement of the engagement has settled a little, the reality of planning a wedding is starting to feel a little overwhelming. There are so many things to organize. I don't even know where to begin.
I completely understand that feeling, but I have been doing a lot of research and I have a very clear plan in my head. I just need us to sit down together and make some decisions. And once we have the big decisions made, everything else will fall into place much more easily.
That is very reassuring to hear. You are so organized, Mia. I honestly don't know what I would do without you. So, what are the most important decisions we need to make first?
The three most important decisions we need to make first are the date, the venue, and the budget. Everything else flows from those three things. Once we know when we are getting married, where we are getting married, and how much we can spend, all the other decisions become much clearer.
That makes a lot of sense. The date and the venue are connected, right? Because the venue might only be available on certain dates, and the budget affects what kind of venue we can afford.
Exactly. They are all connected, which is why it is best to think about all three at the same time rather than making them one by one. So, shall we start with the date? When do you dream of getting married, Lucas?
I have always imagined a summer wedding. There is something so magical about getting married when the days are long and warm and the flowers are in full bloom. What about you?
I completely agree. A summer wedding is exactly what I have always dreamed of. I want the ceremony to be full of sunshine and flowers and warm golden light. I think June or early July would be absolutely perfect.
June or early July. So we are looking at roughly 8 to 10 months from now. Is that enough time to plan a wedding properly?
For most weddings, 6 months is considered the minimum amount of time needed to plan properly. So 8 to 10 months is actually a very comfortable timeline. It gives us enough time to book all the key suppliers and make all the decisions without feeling rushed.
That is a relief. I was worried it might be too soon. Okay, so we are thinking June or early July. Now, let us talk about the most exciting part, the venue.
Oh, yes, the venue. I have so many ideas about this. Can I tell you what I have been dreaming about?
Of course. Tell me everything.
Okay. So when I close my eyes and imagine our perfect wedding, I see us getting married somewhere with a lot of natural beauty, somewhere with a garden or grounds where we can have the ceremony outside, and then a beautiful indoor reception area for the dinner and dancing in the evening.
That sounds incredibly beautiful. Do you have a specific type of venue in mind, like a hotel, a country house, or a barn?
I have actually been looking at country house venues specifically. There is something so romantic and timeless about getting married in a beautiful old country house with a formal garden. The photos are always absolutely stunning, and the whole atmosphere feels very special and exclusive.
I love that idea, and I think it suits both of us. We are not really hotel ballroom kind of people. Something with more character and history and outdoor space feels much more like us.
Exactly. It feels like us. Now, I have actually shortlisted 3 venues that I would love for us to visit together. The first one is called Rosewood Manor. It is a beautiful Georgian country house about 40 minutes from the city. It has a formal rose garden, a stunning oak-paneled reception hall, and accommodation for up to 30 guests on site.
Oh, that sounds incredibly beautiful. Rosewood Manor. Even the name is romantic. What are the other 2?
The second venue is called the Old Mill House. It is a converted historic watermill set in about 15 acres of woodland and meadows. It has a beautiful outdoor ceremony area by the mill pond and a converted barn for the reception. It is a little more rustic and relaxed in style than Rosewood Manor.
Oh, I love the sound of that one too. A watermill with woodland and meadows sounds incredibly magical. What is the third option?
The third one is called Hartlead Hall. It is a Victorian manor house with a walled garden and a beautiful orangery that can be used for either the ceremony or the reception. It's slightly smaller than the other two, which might actually work in our favor if we are planning a more intimate wedding.
All three sound absolutely wonderful, Mia. How are we ever going to choose between them?
That is exactly why we need to visit them all in person. Venues can look very different in photos compared to real life, and the feeling you get when you walk into a space is so important. You know immediately whether it feels right or not.
I completely agree. The feeling matters just as much as the appearance. Have you already contacted them about availability?
Yes, I sent inquiry emails to all three yesterday. Rosewood Manor and Hartley Hall both have availability on the second Saturday of June. The Old Mill House has availability on the last Saturday of June. So all three are potentially available on dates that work for us.
That is wonderful news. So shall we arrange to visit all three venues over the next couple of weekends and then make our decision?
Yes, that is exactly what I was thinking. We could visit 2 venues one weekend and one the following weekend, and then we sit down together after all 3 visits and decide which one felt most like home.
Most like home. I love that way of putting it, because that's exactly what a wedding venue should feel like. Not just a beautiful backdrop, but a place that feels genuinely warm and welcoming and right for who we are as a couple.
You always say the most beautiful things, Lucas. That is one of the many reasons I fell in love with you. Okay, so venues and date are our next step. Now we need to talk about the part that is a little less romantic but equally important.
The budget.
The budget. Ha, yes.
Okay, so the budget. I want us to be very honest with each other about this because I think money conversations can sometimes cause stress in relationships if they are not handled openly and honestly.
I completely agree. And I want you to know that I am not expecting a fairy tale wedding that costs a fortune. I want a beautiful, meaningful day that reflects who we are. And that does not have to cost an enormous amount of money.
That is exactly how I feel too. I would rather have a smaller, more intimate wedding that is genuinely us than a huge, expensive wedding that puts us under financial pressure for years afterward.
Absolutely. So let us talk about what we have. Between the two of us, how much do you think we have saved that we could put toward the wedding?
I have been saving specifically for this for the past 2 years. I have about $12,000 set aside. What about you?
I have about $10,000 saved. So together we have $22,000 that we could put toward the wedding.
$22,000. That is actually a very solid budget for a wedding. It is not an unlimited budget, but it is more than enough to create a truly beautiful and special day if we are smart about where we spend it.
I agree. And I also think we need to have a conversation with both of our families. My parents have already mentioned that they would like to contribute to the wedding, and I think your parents may feel the same way.
Yes, my parents spoke to me last week, actually. They said they would like to give us $5,000 as a wedding contribution, which is incredibly generous of them.
Oh, how wonderful. My parents mentioned a similar amount, so potentially our total budget could be as high as $32,000 if both sets of parents contribute as they have suggested.
$32,000 is a very comfortable wedding budget. How do we divide that up across all the different elements of the wedding?
I have actually done some research on this. The venue and catering typically take up the largest portion of a wedding budget, usually around 40 to 50% of the total. So on a $32,000 budget, we would be looking at spending around $13,000 to $16,000 on the venue and food and drink.
That makes sense. The venue and catering are the foundation of the day. Everything else is built around them. What are the other main budget categories?
Photography and videography is usually the second biggest expense. A good wedding photographer is absolutely worth investing in because those photos are what you will have forever. I would suggest budgeting around $3,000 to $4,000 for photography and videography.
I completely agree. I would not want to compromise on photography. The memories of the day are priceless. What else?
Flowers and decorations are next. I would love beautiful fresh flowers throughout the ceremony and reception. Probably around $2,000 for florals. Then there is music and entertainment, whether we have a live band or a DJ. I would suggest around $1,500 to $2,000 for that.
And what about clothing? Your wedding dress and my suit?
Wedding dresses can range enormously in price, from a few $100s to many thousands. I would like to set a budget of around $1,500 to $2,000 for my dress and all the accessories, and maybe $500 for your suit.
That sounds very reasonable. What about stationery, invitations, and things like that?
Stationery is usually one of the smaller costs. I would budget around $300 to $500 for invitations, place cards, menus, and thank you cards. And then we should keep a contingency fund of around $1,000 to $2,000 for unexpected costs that always seem to arise during wedding planning.
That is very wise. There are always unexpected costs. It is much better to have that money set aside than to be caught off guard. So altogether, it sounds like $32,000 is going to work very well for the wedding we both want.
It really does. And I feel so much better now that we have talked about the numbers openly. I was a little nervous about this conversation, but it feels so good to have a clear picture of what we are working with.
Me too. Okay, so now let us talk about one of my favorite parts of wedding planning, the guest list.
Oh yes, the guest list. This one requires some very careful thinking.
So, how many people are you imagining at our wedding, Mia? Do you want a big celebration with lots of people or something more intimate?
Honestly, I have thought about this a lot, and I keep coming back to the same answer. I want a smaller and more intimate wedding. I would rather have 80 people who genuinely love us and who we have a real connection with than 200 people where half of them are distant relatives or colleagues we barely know.
I feel exactly the same way. I want to look around the room on our wedding day and see faces that genuinely matter to us, people who have been part of our lives and our story.
80 people feels like the perfect number to me. Big enough to feel like a real celebration, but small enough that we can personally greet every single guest and spend meaningful time with the people we love most.
80 guests. Okay. So if we split that roughly equally, that would be about 40 guests from your side of the family and circle and 40 from mine. Does that feel right?
That feels about right as a starting point, although I think in practice it might not be exactly equal. You have a larger extended family than I do, so you might need a few more from your side.
That is fair. I was thinking about that too. I have 3 siblings and they all have partners and children, and then my parents have quite a large extended family. But I also want to be realistic. Not everyone needs to be invited. The guest list is our choice, and we should feel empowered to make it based on who truly matters to us.
Absolutely. And I think the most helpful thing is to go through the guest list in categories. First, immediate family, then close friends, then extended family, and then any other people we want to include. And we keep narrowing it down until we reach our target number.
That is a very sensible approach. Who are the absolute non-negotiables on your list? The people who simply must be there no matter what.
My parents, of course, my sister and her husband, my 3 closest friends from university, my best friend Anna, who has been my friend since we were 7 years old, and a handful of very close family friends who have known me my whole life. That's probably around 25 to 30 people from my side who are absolute non-negotiables.
And from my side, my parents, my 3 siblings and their partners and children, my 2 closest friends from school, and a few family members I am very close to. So probably around 30 to 35 people from my side who I simply cannot imagine not being there.
So between us, we have around 55 to 65 non-negotiable guests. That leaves us with only 15 to 25 spots for additional guests, which means we need to be quite selective about the extended family and colleagues we invite.
That is the difficult part of a smaller wedding, having to make tough choices. But I think it is the right choice. And I think most people genuinely understand when they are not invited to a smaller, intimate wedding. It is not a reflection of how much you value them as a person.
Exactly. And we can always celebrate with a wider group of people at a more casual party after the honeymoon. Many couples do that now. A big, relaxed party for everyone who is not at the wedding itself.
Oh, I love that idea. A casual garden party or barbecue celebration a few weeks after the wedding. That way everyone gets to celebrate with us without the formality and cost of the wedding itself.
Perfect. So our guest list plan is set. Now, what about invitations? When should we send them and what should they look like?
For a wedding, it is customary to send save-the-date cards first. These are simple cards that just tell people the date and location so they can put it in their diary. These should go out at least 6 months before the wedding.
And then the formal invitations with all the details go out about 2 to 3 months before the wedding. The invitation should include the date, the time, the venue address, the dress code, and information about how to reply to confirm attendance.
RSVP. That stands for the French phrase Répondez s'il vous plaît, which means please reply. We need to give guests a deadline to reply so we can give accurate numbers to the venue and the caterers.
Yes, I would give guests about 4 weeks to reply after receiving the invitation. So if the wedding is in June, we send invitations in March and ask for replies by the end of April.
That gives us May to finalize all the numbers and make any last-minute arrangements. That timeline feels very well organized, Mia. I knew you would have thought all of this through.
I've been planning this wedding in my head since I was about 8 years old.
I love you so much. Okay, now I want to talk about the ceremony itself, because for me personally, the ceremony is the most important part of the whole day.
For me too. The ceremony is the heart of the wedding. Everything else is beautiful and fun, but the ceremony is where the real meaning is.
So, what kind of ceremony are you imagining, Mia? Religious or civil?
We are both not particularly religious, so I think a civil ceremony makes the most sense for us. A civil ceremony can still be incredibly meaningful and beautiful. You just do not have it in a church, and it is conducted by a registrar rather than a priest or minister.
A civil ceremony feels right for us. And the beautiful thing about a civil ceremony is that you have so much more freedom to personalize it. You can choose your own readings, your own music, and most importantly, you can write your own vows.
Oh, the vows. Lucas, I have been thinking about the vows so much. I think writing our own personal vows is one of the most meaningful things we can do. Rather than just repeating standard legal words, we get to stand in front of everyone we love and say exactly what is in our hearts.
I completely agree. Although I have to confess, the idea of writing my own vows is also a little terrifying. I'm not a naturally poetic person. I'm not sure I'm capable of writing something beautiful enough for a moment like that.
Oh, Lucas, you do not need to be a poet. You just need to be honest. The most beautiful vows are not the most elaborate ones. They are the most genuine ones. When you stand up there and you speak from your heart, every single person in that room will feel it.
That is a very comforting way to look at it. Can I tell you what I want to say in my vows? Not the final words, just the feelings I want to express.
Please, I would love nothing more.
I want to tell you that you are my best friend, that every day with you is better than the day before, that you make me want to be a better person just by being who you are, that I choose you, not just today, but every single day for the rest of my life, and that no matter what life brings us, I will always be standing right beside you.
Lucas, I think I'm going to cry right now. That was the most beautiful thing I have ever heard.
Well, that was just the rough version. Imagine the final polished vows.
If the final vows are even half as beautiful as what you just said, there will not be a dry eye in the room, including mine, and yours, and probably yours too.
I'm not going to pretend I won't cry. I am absolutely going to cry, and I'm completely fine with that. What about you? What do you want to say in your vows?
I want to tell you that the day you walked into my life was the day everything changed. That you are the first person I want to tell when something good happens, and the first person I want when something is hard. That you make ordinary days feel extraordinary just by being in them. And that I promise to love you not just when it's easy, but especially when it's hard, because that's when love matters most.
Mia, now I'm going to cry, right here at the kitchen table, surrounded by wedding magazines.
Good. We are both going to be complete emotional wrecks on the day, and I could not be happier about it.
I think that is the most accurate description of what our wedding ceremony is going to be. A beautiful, emotional wreck. Now, what about the music for the ceremony? Have you thought about what you want to walk down the aisle to?
Oh yes, I have thought about this a great deal. The music you walk down the aisle to is one of those things you remember for the rest of your life. Every time you hear that song afterward, it will take you right back to that moment.
So, what song do you want? What do you hear when you close your eyes and imagine walking toward me?
I keep coming back to something classical, something timeless and beautiful that will not feel dated in 20 years when we look back at our wedding video. I love the idea of a live string quartet playing something like Canon in D by Pachelbel. It is one of the most beautiful pieces of music ever written, and it has such a sense of gentle, joyful ceremony about it.
Canon in D. Yes, I can hear you walking toward me to that music, and it gives me chills. That is absolutely the right choice. And what about when we walk back down the aisle together after the ceremony? That moment when we are officially married.
something joyful and celebratory, something that makes people want to clap and cheer and feel the happiness of the moment. What do you think?
I think something upbeat and full of joy. A song that says we did it and we are the happiest people alive. We can decide on the specific song together closer to the time, but that is the feeling I want.
Perfect. Joy, celebration, love. That is everything our wedding day is going to be. Lucas, I feel so good about all of this. Every conversation we have about the wedding makes me more and more excited and more certain that this is going to be the most beautiful and meaningful day of our lives.
Me too. And I want to say something. I know I sometimes seem nervous about all the planning and the details, but underneath all of that, there is just this deep feeling of certainty and peace. Because at the end of the day, none of the details matter as much as the fact that I'm marrying you.
Lucas, you are going to make me cry again. Stop being so wonderful.
Never. Now, shall we talk about our final thoughts and what we want this day to truly mean for both of us?
Yes, let us do that.
So, Lucas, beyond all the planning and the logistics and the budget, when you strip all of that away, what do you want our wedding day to truly be about?
That is a beautiful question, and the answer is simple. I want our wedding day to be a celebration of our story, of how we found each other, of everything we have been through together, of the life we have built and the life we are going to build. I want every person in that room to leave feeling like they witnessed something real and something truly special.
I love that. I want the same thing. I want our guests to feel our love, not just see a wedding, but actually feel the love between two people who are completely and utterly meant for each other.
And I think that is what separates a truly memorable wedding from just a very expensive party. When the love is real and visible and palpable, people feel it. They carry it with them long after the day is over.
Exactly. I have been to weddings where everything was perfectly organized and beautifully decorated, but somehow it felt a little empty. And I have been to much simpler weddings where the love between the couple was so visible and so genuine that you left feeling genuinely moved and inspired.
Yes, the authenticity is everything, and I think we have that. I think what we have is rare and real and worth celebrating with everything we have.
It is. And I want to make you a few promises right now. Not our official vows, just some promises between the two of us as we begin this planning journey.
I love that idea. Go ahead.
I promise that I will not let the stress of wedding planning affect our relationship. Planning a wedding can be overwhelming, and I promise that no matter how much pressure we feel, I will always remember that you are more important than any detail of any wedding.
That promise means everything to me, Mia, and I make the same promise back to you. I promise that I will be fully involved in this process. I will not just leave everything to you. I will show up for every venue visit, every tasting, every decision. This is our wedding, not just yours.
Oh, Lucas, that means so much to hear. Because I know some partners leave all the wedding planning to one person, and I did not want to have to ask you to be involved. I wanted you to want to be involved.
I absolutely want to be involved, every single step, because every decision we make together is another memory, another moment of us building this life together. I would not miss a single one.
I also promise to be flexible. I know I can sometimes have very strong opinions about how things should be done, and I promise to listen to your ideas and your preferences with an open mind and an open heart. This has to feel like both of ours.
And I promise to be honest with you when I feel strongly about something, rather than just going along with everything to avoid conflict. If something matters to me, I will speak up, because you deserve to know what I really think and feel.
That is a very important promise. I would rather have an honest conversation than a silent compromise. Okay, I think we have covered so much today. I feel like we have gone from having a dream to having an actual plan.
We have, and it feels incredible. Mia, a year from now, we are going to be looking back at today as the day we started building our perfect wedding. And on that day, when we are standing together in front of everyone we love, all of this planning will have been completely worth it.
Every spreadsheet, every venue visit, every decision, all of it worth it for one perfect day with you.
For one perfect day, and then a perfect life after it.
A perfect life. I like the sound of that very much.
Me too. Mia, I love you, and I cannot wait to marry you.
I love you too, Lucas. More than words can say. Now, shall we open the first wedding magazine and start getting inspired?
Let us do it. Although I should warn you, I know absolutely nothing about flowers or table centerpieces.
Ha, do not worry. That is what I am here for. Now, sit down and let me show you the most beautiful wedding inspiration you have ever seen.
I am ready. Let us plan our perfect wedding, Mia.
Let us plan our perfect wedding.
And that brings us to the end of today's episode of the Smart English Club podcast. I hope you enjoyed listening to Mia and me as we planned our dream wedding together. This conversation was full of real practical English vocabulary and natural expressions that you can use in your own daily life. If you listened all the way to the end of this episode, you just completed a full 25-minute natural English conversation. That is truly something to be proud of. Your English is getting stronger every single day, simply by listening. Every episode you listen to builds your vocabulary, improves your listening skills, and grows your confidence in English. Keep going. The progress is happening even when you cannot see it. Now here is your challenge for today. Write one sentence in the comments below about a special celebration or event in your life. For example, I want to plan a beautiful wedding one day. Or, I recently celebrated my birthday with my family. Or, I am planning a special dinner for someone I love. Just one sentence. We read every comment, and we will reply to you personally. If you enjoyed this episode, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the Smart English Club podcast. Turn on the bell notification so you never miss a brand new episode every single week. Thank you so much for spending this time with us today. Keep going, keep listening, keep learning. Until next time, take very good care of yourself. And goodbye from both of us. Goodbye, everyone.